Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I have more good news to report this week. MAGA trolls Jacob Wohl and Jack Burkman have been hit with a pretty substantial fine, potentially over $1 million for their robocall scheme. You guys will remember this. They sent out these robocalls to try to discourage Black people from voting in the 2020 election. But, it was Democrats who committed election fraud. And as you all know, Wohl and Burkman are major Trump suck-ups. They've targeted various Democratic political figures over the years with completely bogus scandals. They face plant every single time, but they've never faced any kind of consequences for their outright lies. So this is a first for them. And so, for example, they convinced the MAGA base that Senator Elizabeth Warren was having an affair with some 20-year-old guy. And they usually pay someone to lie. They usually pay someone to pretend to be the whistleblower or someone involved with one of these politicians. But then they'll hold a press conference where the person either just doesn't show up because they chicken out, or they claim, oh, we're going to reveal all of this evidence at the press conference. And then they have to admit, after everybody's there, all the news outlets are waiting and they're filming, oh, actually, we don't have anything. So they're complete clowns, but they've done some real damage with their scams. And this is definitely one of them. So, and they're even being sued right now. You might remember this story I covered recently. They're being sued by a veteran because they accused him of being a child predator after they set him up with some bogus sting operation. At least according to him, they lured him to a house based on a meeting that he thought he was meeting a full-grown woman that he had connected with on a dating app. So again, you might remember I shared that I think about a month ago. So before the 2020 election, Wohl and Burkman paid a company to send out these robocalls. This was done in various states. It was filled with racist stereotypes, basically just trying to scare Black people from casting their mail-in ballots. And remember, this was during the pandemic, so most people were doing vote by mail. And when people answered their phones, what they heard was a woman's voice, and she said, quote, "Hi, this is Tamika Taylor from Project 1599, the civil rights organization founded by Jack Burkman and Jacob Wohl. Mail-in voting sounds great, but did you know that if you vote by mail, your personal information will be part of a public database that will be used by police departments to track down old warrants and be used by credit card companies to collect outstanding debts? The CDC is even pushing to use records for mail-in voting to track people for mandatory vaccines. Don't be finessed into giving your private information to the man. Stay safe and beware of vote by mail." So yeah, these idiots actually use their real names and the name of their company, the 1599 Project, in this robocall. So needless to say, they got caught, and written communications between them showed that they were referring to the scheme as the, quote, Black Robo. And then they also referred to it as hijack the election. So several states filed lawsuits against them. They said they violated laws under that old federal Ku Klux Klan Act. And, that act prevents intimidation of voters. Well, on Tuesday of last week, New York Attorney General Letitia James announced that Wohl and Burkman have agreed to a consent decree, and they're going to settle this lawsuit in New York. As part of this consent decree, they would be required to pay incremental amounts totaling $105,000 by December 31st of this year. So here's how this breaks down. They have to hit certain milestones and pay along the way. Otherwise, it increases to over $1 million. So Wohl and Burkman have to come up right away with $20,000. Then they have to pay another $30,000 by September 1st. Then they have to pay another $55,000 by December 31st. So that's the $105,000 by the end of this year. Beginning in March of next year, 2025, Wohl and Burkman have to pay $6,000 a month every single month for 2 years. And if they make all of the scheduled payments, which in total it's $393,000, if they do that, the New York AG will forgive the outstanding balance, the $407,000. If they fail to stick to this payment schedule, then they automatically owe $1.25 million. And whatever money they pay is going to go to the AG's office, also the National Coalition on Black Civil Participation Group, and also there are several plaintiffs in this case. For instance, there's a plaintiff, a man named Steinberg, Gene Steinberg. He says he was so concerned after hearing this robocall, he decided not only did he not vote in 2020 because of this robocall, he removed his name from the voter rolls. So the consent decree also prohibits them from, for 8 years, it prevents them from, quote, knowingly creating, sponsoring, or transmitting any robocall or other mass communication that would intimidate or deter voters from voting based on false or fraudulent information. And Wohl and Burkman have agreed under this consent decree, they will not appeal this decision. So they'll owe $393,000 on the low end, $1.25 million on the high end. And as I mentioned, this is just one state where they're in trouble. So there's more to come. I will definitely let you know when I hear more about their consequences, but this is such good news. I mean, if this doesn't scare some of these people straight, I don't know what's going to work, you know? So I'll let you know when I hear more. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.